I'm just a loser who trained for 100,000 years before finally ascending to the immortal realm. But the day I ascended, the entire immortal realm was shaken. Countless top factions emerged. Even the old ancestors of major sects were alarmed. They came out themselves, all just to greet me the moment I arrived from the lower realm. It was all because when I was about to ascend after reaching the tribulation stage, the damned system told me to ascend, I'd have to close off and train for another 100,000 years. So during those years, I watched my disciples ascend one by one, and each became a big shot. Even the old yellow guard dog at my house turned into a beast and ascended, became the beast emperor, but I was the only one who couldn't sense the chance to ascend. Luckily, after 100,000 years, my power became too strong for this world to hold my energy anymore. It barely let me ascend. But the moment I arrived in the immortal realm, I regretted it. The environment around here is so ordinary. It's nothing like how I'd imagined the immortal realm. Did I not actually make it yet? Hey bro, happy tomb sweeping day. Let me ask you, is this the immortal realm? Forget tomb sweeping day. Hurry up and help my miss out of the water. I can't swim. What's going on here? The immortal realm welcome ceremony turned into water rescue.
Hey buddy.
Thanks for helping. I know you have a ton of questions right now. All newcomers look just like that. Don't worry, you really did ascend. But remember, this isn't the heavenly paradise you imagined. It's just a transit station between mortal and immortal worlds. Right behind you in the spirit realm, that's the immortal washing pool. Every ascender will be randomly teleported to a washing pool and go through the ritual cleansing, shedding mortal flesh, and refining your body.
Take a good look at yourself.
Wow, my body feels way stronger now. Way more than 100 times above the lower realm. I bet I could punch through a planet now. Hold on, did you say? Ascenders randomly show up at washing pools? So how did you manage to meet your miss exactly here? Can you share that method? That's really important to me. If I could locate myself, those disciples who ascended after 100,000 years would definitely come to greet me. US. People from Yuanyo Star have our own bloodline tracking method. Folks from other planets can't learn it. By the way, which star are you from? Our master told us to meet someone here, but I don't know the star. The continent's called Zhuanxing Continent. Makes sense. Zhuzhou is so big. It's super unlikely we just find the one master asked for. I'm the Gaiyang. If you're interested, you can join our De Luo Sword sect as a manager, or even be a guest elder. Anyway, I have nowhere to go for now. So just join the sect directly. Get to know the spirit realm before deciding. And maybe look for my disciples too. Don't worry. Our Daluo Sword sect's leader, Shen Mengyao, is a master of swordsmanship. The mixed element stick sword technique is unbeatable for miles around. Absolutely a top-class sect. Shen Mengyao's mixed element stick sword technique. Isn't that from 13,000 years ago? The chubby girl who was talented in swordsmanship? Didn't I create that sword technique myself? After I returned to the sect, I confirmed it. She's the same chubby girl from back then. It wasn't seeing Shen Mengli, but spotting a black stone monument, standing by the sparring ground, right before my ascension all those years ago. I personally crafted and gifted Lang Tianqi, a divine weapon, to her. And I remembered the watermelon-loving chubby girl, always hanging around me. I couldn't help but walk over to touch Liang Tianqi.
Hey kid.
What are you doing? The Gaiyang jumped in shock and quickly stopped me. That's the sect leader's favorite item. She comes here every day to see it. Regular disciples aren't allowed to touch it. I glanced at Liang Tianqi, nodded. All right, let's get you settled. Once my miss wakes up, I'll take you both to meet the Grand Elder. I agreed and glanced around. I noticed there aren't many disciples here. The Gaian frowned. Don't look down on our Daluo sword sect. Most disciples are out searching for someone now, so there's not many staying behind. Even the sect leader is gone. Who are they looking for? No harm in telling you. Ascender Jiu Shinge from Blue Star. I glanced at the ascension list in the sky. Earlier, an older guy explained how it works, so Shen Mengli must have seen the list and sent disciples searching for her target. So this Blue Star, could it be Zhuanxing continent? At the same time, a graceful silhouette appeared in midair, coming from the horizon. Shen Mengli is back. Inside Grand Elder Shen Qingqiu's main hall, the Gaian stood carefully at a distance. Shen Qingqiu looked surprised. Yesterday, I heard your clan had a young lady who ascended today. Right here is Shen Qingqiu, the Grand Elder of Daluo Sword Sect, and one of the founders with Shen Mengli, and a participant from back then. Also Shen Mengli's close friend. Did everything go smoothly? No problems. But some thunder entered her body, so her meridians got hurt. I already gave her medicine, so she wake up in a few hours. Shen Qingqiu's expression turned hopeful. Where is the other one from? But the Gaian could only shake his head, not from Blue Star. Shen Qingqiu was obviously disappointed. Her gaze dimmed a bit. But thinking about how huge Juzhou is, the odds an ascender would appear in Daluo Sword Sect's washing pool are pretty tiny, way too small. Man, I'm really jealous of Yuanyang Star's bloodline tracking method. Too bad other planets' cultivators just can't use it because of their bodies and bloodline. It's impossible for them. Just then, a graceful figure flashed in, appearing near the Gaian. The Gaian got startled again, and hurriedly cupped his hands. Greetings, sect leader. Shen Mengli went straight to the point. I heard the washing pool you guarded had 2 ascenders. One of them was brought here using Yuanyang Star's bloodline method. The miss from my clan. The other, I already checked, wasn't from Blue Star. That killed Shen Mengli's hope, and her expression instantly dimmed. The Gaian knew it was time to leave, so he exited the hall. Just then he remembered. He still didn't even know
The name.
of the guy who ascended along with the miss. What's his name? Only Shen Mengli and Shen Qingqiu remained in the main hall. Shen Qingqiu isn't from Blue Star. She actually appeared in the same ascension pool as Mengli. Don't overthink it, Mengli. Since your master has ascended to this realm, you'll meet him eventually. Shen Mengli was very worried, but he just ascended, and he's only at the true immortal realm. What if something happens to him? With a sect as large as yours, and everyone seeing the ascension list yesterday, one of your fellow disciples will surely find him. I hope so. For the next few days, keep patrolling the pools within our sect's territory. My master suffered alone for 100,000 years below. I don't want him to be alone up here, too. Shen Qingqiu nodded, pondering for a few seconds, then suddenly remembered something. Right, that sword pavilion sent people again. I've already turned them down. I'm just afraid that Sword Emperor will provoke us again. At a time like this, most of our disciples are out patrolling the pools. We're short-staffed in the sect. Sword Emperor? Shen Mengli raised an eyebrow. Sword Emperor, my ass. He's just using a self-proclaimed empty title when it comes to sword talent. Even in this vast spirit realm, no one can ever surpass my master. You could see Mengli's pride and her absolute confidence. It made Shen Qingqiu curious. Even if he is her master, he's just a newly ascended true immortal. How great could his sword talent be? How could she know? Back in the lower realm, I maxed out my sword talent through check-ins long ago. And not just sword talent. Alchemy, forging, arrays, all are at max level. Meanwhile, outside the bamboo forest by the cliff, I was still enjoying life in my lounge chair. The lower realm was like a cage. I couldn't escape for 100,000 years. Now, in this vast world, so much beauty is waiting for me to explore. And, of course, there are the many disciples I sent up myself. Bored out of my mind, I continued studying the system. In those 100,000 years, the system gave random talent points, cultivation, and pills. It gave treasures, but once my talents were maxed, and I had more treasures than I could use, my cultivation hit the peak of the tribulation stage, and the system stopped giving me anything. I opened the system to check my current level. Current realm, true immortal, 6th heaven. I sighed to myself. That's pretty fast. The energy inside me is endless, like a power bank, constantly converting into spiritual power and raising my level. I don't even need to practice. Daily check-ins give extra power too. It's like I'm totally ignoring the heavenly Tao. Why isn't the guy in here yet? And I wonder if that chubby girl Meng Li is back. I couldn't sit still, so I went to the training grounds and stopped in front of the heaven measuring ruler. I gave this to Shen Meng Li back then. Who knew it'd be like scrap metal in this realm? The mighty ruler from the lower realm, in the spirit realm, isn't even worth as much as the trashiest spirit tool. Meng Li couldn't bear to throw it away, so she stuck it here. You new to the training grounds? A crisp, clear voice suddenly came from behind. I looked back and saw a very beautiful woman, dressed in yellow silk robes. She must have a high status in this sect, speaking to the Gaian who ascended today. And the other person was me? I'm Shen Qingku, Great Elder of the Great Luo Sword Sect. Shen Qingku smiled. Greeting her, I thought, so this is the Great Elder? The one who helps Meng Li manage the sect. Greetings, Great Elder. I cupped my hands. You might feel out of place after ascending. You'll get used to it. Our sect may not rule the province, but we are unique within 1,000 miles. Stay here for now. Once you're familiar and want to leave, we won't stop you. By the way, what's your name? I almost blurted out my real name, but then I thought better of it. Molly, I replied. Seeing me staring at the ruler, Shen Qingku warned, that's the heaven measuring ruler. Though it's not a treasure, it's the most important thing in our sect. As a guest elder, you have a lot of freedom. But remember never to touch this. It's the sect leader's most prized possession. Hearing her say that, I felt pretty happy inside. That chubby girl still has a heart. The next morning, the training grounds were packed. Shen Meng Li sat on the high throne, looking at the crowd below, with a lonely, somber expression. The reports from the disciples came in last night. There was no news of me, even though they found a few other ascenders as guest elders. They could leave at any time. Just keep it brief. Grant them their titles and end the meeting. Shen Meng Li said to Shen Qingku. The other elders were all women, and seeing Meng Li so listless, they felt sorry for her. But there was nothing they could do. Yesterday is over, and no news means no news. The ascension list doesn't lie. They took over all pools in the territory yesterday, but found no one. That could only mean my ascension point wasn't in this area. At the edge of the training grounds, the Gaian had already called me over. The Zixuan was standing beside him. He had recovered from his injuries. I, however, was a bit distracted, squinting at the high platform. Up there, on the sect leader's throne, was that familiar face. It hadn't changed much in 13,000 years, but compared to her lively self before, she looked a bit more weary. I couldn't help but feel for her. Back in the lower realm, that chubby girl couldn't even take care of herself. To hold up a sect alone all this time. She must have suffered a lot. Beside me, the Zixuan saw I was ignoring him, and snapped, Hey! Molly, what's with that look? That's so creepy. That's the sect leader, you pervert. I awkwardly looked away. Before I could reply, a loud laugh echoed from the sky. The dazed Shen Meng Li looked up, and saw Li Tianxing, the lord of the heterodox sword pavilion. 8,000 years ago, a man calling himself the Sword Emperor, at Mount Li, 100 miles from the Deluo Sword Sect, founded the Yujian Pavilion. Normally, the Deluo Sword Sect wouldn't allow this, but Shen Meng Li and the elders are all women, who aren't fond of conflict, so they simply ignored it. Later, the Yujian Pavilion grew rapidly. Li Tianxing began eyeing Shen Meng Li's Hunyuan staff. He even coveted Shen Meng Li's beauty, planning to make her his cultivation partner, and merge the two sects together. How shameless. I frowned. My disciple's marriage should be her own choice. But according to the Gaian, Shen Meng Li is clearly unwilling. Yet Li Tianxing remains persistent and pestering, utterly without shame. Even his Sword Emperor title was self-proclaimed. Li Tianxing looks like a bloated, middle-aged man. He's truly too shameless to think he's worthy. But there's no way around it. This Li Tianxing's strength is quite formidable. The Yijian Pavilion disciples are aggressive, and the Deluo Sword Sect avoids friction with them. I nodded silently. This is indeed typical of Shen Meng Li. She doesn't do it for herself, but for the sake of the sect's many disciples. Is this Li Qianqing really that powerful? Of course. Word is his realm has reached 5th level High Immortal. The Gaia nodded with a serious expression. High Immortal? What kind of realm is that? Sounds pretty impressive. After true immortal comes High Immortal. Hearing this, the corner of my mouth twitched. And here I thought he was actually strong. High Immortal just follows true immortal? I just slept for one night, and I'm already at 9th level True Immortal. Almost at the peak of True Immortal. Maybe in 2 days, I'll reach High Immortal too. What about Shen Mengli? What's her realm? 3rd level High Immortal. I didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Shen Mengli ascended 13,000 years ago, and she's only at 3rd level High Immortal now. I ascended only yesterday, and I'm already near the peak of True Immortal. Then Li Qianqing said with a smile, Mengli, it's been a long time. How have you been? Are we even that close? Shen Mengli didn't even bother to stand up. She just replied casually while looking for her master. She was already feeling quite irritable. Li Qianqing's face stiffened. No matter. I came here today with no other intentions. Our sects have a long history together. I'm here today only to spar and discuss the Dao. Shen Mengli raised an eyebrow. You want to fight me?
Concord.
Do you really think I'm afraid of you? Though her realm was lower than Li Qianqing's, the gap within the same realm wasn't that large. Besides, the Hunyuan staff techniques from her master were enough to bridge the power gap. No, there's no need for us to spar. The people with me are disciples and guests of my pavilion. They've come to discuss the Dao. In the crowd, I also got interested. I asked the Gaian, hey, if it's about sword intent, am I qualified to participate? The Gaian glanced at me. Yes, guest elders are qualified, but I don't recommend it. You'll die a miserable death. I grinned at his words. Just kidding. I'm a bit weak in raw power, but in terms of the Dao, my sword skills are maxed. Li Qianqing spoke again. My Yijian pavilion may not match Daluo sword sect yet, but I'm confident in my teaching. Let's compare. Shall we make a bet? What do you mean? Neither we nor the elders will participate. Disciples and guest elders can all step up. If my people win, you shall become my cultivation partner, and Daluo sword sect will merge with my pavilion. My pavilion is willing to take in all disciples, and will pay every Daluo disciple double their current monthly allowance. That last sentence was likely to win over the Daluo disciples, but I have to say, it was truly effective. Daluo has many disciples, and not all of them feel a sense of loyalty. If Yijian Pavilion is willing to pay double, regardless of the bet's outcome today, once Li Qianqing leaves, many disciples might just quit and head to the Yijian Pavilion. That way, Yijian Pavilion's overall sect strength would surely surpass Daluo's sword sect. Shen Mengli grit her teeth. Even knowing Li Qianqing's scheme, she had no way to solve it. But before Shen Mengli could speak, a sturdy youth stepped out from the crowd. The sword in his hand was already unsheathed. How dare you? Our sect master is not for someone like you to insult. Lei Dong, don't be reckless. Shen Qingku was startled. This Lei Dong was her own disciple, though his talent was indeed great, and he had mastered sword intent, reaching the true immortal realm 3 years ago. He was still just an inexperienced kid. Besides, by standing out like this, isn't he effectively accepting the challenge? Fool, I sighed. I shook my head. Big head, thick neck, but simple-minded. Yet Lei Dong was full of passion. Without looking back, he said, Master, don't worry. Daluo sword sect is not weaker than Yijian Pavilion. He took a step forward. Countless yellow-green sword keys swirled around him. A powerful wind began to rise, accompanied by a light chuckle. From behind Li Qianqing, a youth dressed in white silk jumped down gracefully. I've often heard that under Elder Shen Qingku, there is a peerless genius who mastered Tiangong sword intent in the tribulation stage. Looking at you now, you do have some skill. Li Wuji of Yijian Pavilion, at your service.
He gave Daluo no chance to back out.
Releasing his own sword intent, it clashed with Lei Dong's Tiangang sword intent. This Li Wuji was Li Qianqing's son, Rumored to master Jehu sword intent in 300 years, ascend in 400 years, reach 5th level true immortal in 800 years, and 8th level true immortal in a millennium. He's a true prodigy.
His sword intent was fierce,
Matching Lei Dong's Tiangang sword intent. Right then, Lei Dong's body began to shake uncontrollably. The sword intent wind around him became chaotic. In contrast, Li Wuji looked calm and indifferent, even a bit sinister, high in the sky. Li Tianxing's smile widened. Shen Mengli gripped her armrest tightly. She let out a long breath. Lei Dong lost. A second later, Lei Dong spat out blood. His Tiangang sword intent instantly vanished. He collapsed completely. Li Wuji chuckled, withdrawing his sword intent. Good game. Those 2 words were a massive insult to Lei Dong. Shen Qingku flashed forward and appeared by Lei Dong's side. She checked his pulse, and her expression darkened. Currently, Lei Dong's meridians were all shattered, and his danshan was a total mess. This Li Wuji might be arrogant, but he definitely has the skills to back it up. Understanding of sword intent. At his current level and age, it's really rare. No wonder Li Tianxing dared to come and provoke. Outside the arena, the guy inside. That Lei Dong is just too dumb. Now there's no way to end this cleanly. This round Daluo sword sect is doomed to take a huge loss. The Zixuan felt a bit unconvinced. That sword intent is scary for sure. With so many disciples in Daluo sword sect, is there really no one who can handle Li Wuji? The Gaian shook his head. That's not exactly it. It's just that there are a lot of disciples, but not many have reached the immortal realm. Of the disciples at immortal level, Lei Dong's Tiangang sword intent ranks top 3. But he still got defeated so easily. As for those guest elders, forget it, they're just external support. They might come to watch, but risk their lives? Unlikely. On stage, Li Wuji kept taunting. No one else? I've already experienced Lei Dong's Tiangang sword intent. It's honestly nothing special. So tell me, is he your sex representative? Shen Mengli and the others looked embarrassed. Within Daluo sword sect, besides Shen Mengli and the elders, some disciples do have deeper sword intent than Lei Dong, but most still can't beat Li Wuji. What? Just send them up one after another. To get crippled? At that moment, Li Tianxing shouted, since no one wants to spar, then for this bet. Before he could finish, he was interrupted by a voice from the crowd. Since it's a bet, you're only talking about what if you win. What a joke. But what if you lose? What's your plan then? As soon as those words came out, everyone looked over. I stepped out from the disciples. The Gaian and the Zixuan tried to stop me, but it was already too late. That's it. It's over. This kid really is nuts. Zhanyuan, you'd better stay away from him in the future. On the high platform, Shen Mengli found the voice familiar. She turned her head without thinking. She only glanced at me, and it was like a thunderstruck. She stared blankly at me. Her restless heart was instantly flooded by joy and disbelief. After 13,000 years, and countless nights thinking of him, the face Shen Mengli dreamed of was now right in front of her. Beside her, Shen Qingku frowned. Molly, why is he here? Hearing that name, Shen Mengli was stunned, then quickly realized Mo Li was the alias her master used when traveling the lower realm. At the same time, the elders of Daluo sword sect glanced at each other. None of them knew who I was. Could he be a disciple? But a true immortal level disciple? There's no way they wouldn't know. Li Tianxing and the others wondered too. Who is this guy? Reporting sect leader. This person isn't mentioned in any of our records, someone nearby said awkwardly. Meanwhile, tons of disciples were staring my way with curiosity. After seeing Lei Dong get crushed, someone still dares to go up there. Impressive. Especially the Gaian and the Zixuan. From their point of view, I'm just some clueless hothead. Back in the lower realm, during tribulation, a big shot could be untouchable. But after crossing over to true immortal, that's nothing. Showing off at this point is pretty much asking for death. But as the one involved, I stayed calm, glanced at the stage, locked eyes with Shen Mengli, and gave her a wink, raised an eyebrow. That made Shen Mengli blush instantly. She thought, over 10,000 years later.
He's still just as shameless.
Then I turned around and yelled, Li, what was your name again? Didn't hear what I said? Since it's a bet, talking only about winning. It's just a joke. What if you lose? My name is Li Tianxing. Li Tianxing corrected me, sounding calm. As for what if we lose? He really hadn't thought about it, because he was fully prepped this time, and came here just to stir things up. Call me whatever you want. A bet's a bet. No problem with that. But the stakes should be clear. Why only talk about what if you win, and ignore what you'll lose? Who's ever heard of such a shameless bet? I was being brutally direct. Li Tianxing's face turned red. After finally being saved by Li Wuji, all the momentum Lei Dong built up was suddenly cut down. Guess I just forgot. Since you brought it up, let's hear your suggestion. What should happen if we lose? I just rolled my eyes. Are you out of your mind? You're the one making a bet, and haven't even thought about what happens if you lose. What are you even doing here? Li Tianxing gritted his teeth. No one's ever talked to him like that before. He could sense my level. I'm at the true immortal realm. But he can't make a move, because the rules of the bet were made by himself.
Come on, we came here from Sword Pavilion to spar.
So of course we came prepared. I just forgot to bring it up. Since that's the case, I might as well tell you. If our Yijian Pavilion loses this time, we won't have any contact with Daluo's sword sect for the next 3 years. This is a decision Li Tianxing made after careful thought. But just as he finished speaking, I couldn't help but laugh out loud. Nice try. Li Tianxing, Pavilion Master of Yijian Pavilion. Insightful Li Tianxing. Li Tianxing gritted his teeth and corrected me. Li Tianxing is just Li Tianxing. Insight? Forget it. With this bet, if you win, you get to marry Shen Mengli. Daluo sword sect merges into Yijian Pavilion. Isn't that a big enough price? If you lose, you just go home like nothing happened. 3 years. Are you kidding me? I bluntly asked. What a piece of work. And Li Tianxing was getting annoyed. Then what do you suggest? I smirked. I really didn't expect. This Li Tianxing has trained for over 10,000 years. And his temperament is still so terrible. Now he's pissed. Simple, since it's a bet, everyone should pay the same price. If you win, it goes as you said. Shen Mengli marries you. Daluo sword sect merges into Yijian Pavilion. But if you lose, forget the merger. Your Yijian Pavilion shuts down for good. Once I finished speaking, Li Tianxing's face changed a bit. This bet is pretty intense. He's confident. But first, he has no clue about this guy who suddenly showed up. If he agrees, and really loses, he won't be able to save face. After thinking it over, Li Tianxing still hesitated. He decided to use Shen Mengli as an excuse to back down. It is fair. I can agree too. But your Daluo sword sex master Shen doesn't seem to agree. This bet is exactly what I want. Shen Mengli cut Li Tianxing off. She basically worships me blindly. For Shen Mengli, she doesn't care what I'm doing. Because whatever it is, Master can't possibly lose. The elders beside her, including Shen Qingku, were all shocked. They gave Shen Mengli a surprised look. What's going on? Why the sudden change of mind? Just a moment ago, she was so hesitant and forced up Li Yangshen. But now she's so confident. Where's this confidence coming from? So now, the bet is set. Li Tianxing was indecisive. He stared at me and asked, "Who are you?" Don't forget the rules of the bet. Only members can join. Outsiders aren't allowed. I raised my hand and cut Li Tianxing off. I'm called Mo Li. I'm Daluo sword sex. Guest elder, qualified for the debate. Right after I spoke, Li Wuju, who I'd totally ignored, finally couldn't hold it in. Kit, you're pretty confident. How much do you look down on me? Well, guess this is a lucky day for Yijian Pavilion. Throw it all on my head. After the debate, the world warped from the sword intent filling the area. Fiery lotus flowers bloomed all around. Every petal of those lotus flowers seemed like a manifestation made of sword energy. Shen Qingku and the others on the platform were shocked. Turns out, Li Wuju was holding back when debating with Lei Dong. He didn't show his entire understanding of sword intent. Sword intent that triggers visions. In some ways, even surpasses Shen Qingku. That's it, Daluo sword sect is doomed this time. Shen Qingku turned to look at Shen Mengli. Strangely, at this moment, Shen Mengli was completely different from before. No longer gloomy, She sat lively in her chair, looking almost restless like her but was on fire. Ever since Moli appeared, her gaze hadn't shifted at all. She didn't even want to blink. Mengli, what do you mean? Just watch the show. Shen Mengli gave a gentle smile. Watch the show. Do you even know what this bat means? Moli ascended just yesterday. How dare you? Halfway through speaking, Shen Qingku suddenly froze.
He whipped his head around to look at me. He could clearly see I was truly at the immortal realm.
But my energy was thick and dense. Nothing like some rookie that just ascended. That kind of impatience. Shen Qingku was baffled. Because when he first met me last night, my energy wasn't so solid.
Now,
I was relaxed, while the fiery sword intent came at me. But I didn't dodge or flinch. Like a tiny boat braving a raging storm, floating randomly. Li Wuju's sword intent was overpowering, while Moli on the other side was steady as a rock. Totally unmoved. Li Tianxing watched as Li Wuju reached peak sword intent, and finally let out a big sigh of relief. Although it happened sooner than I expected. It's fine. Shen Mengli already agreed to the bet, so now's the chance to take Daluo's sword sect in one move. But next second he called me kid. So rude. I suddenly lifted my foot and strolled through the fiery sword intent, not heading toward Li Wuju, but toward the measuring ruler ahead. That ruler stuck in the ground. The raging sword intent around me seemed to have zero effect on me. Everyone was stunned by this odd move. But Shen Mengli was actually excited. That measuring ruler was forged by me. Just what's strange is, at the boundary, the ruler can be used. What's my plan? As I wondered, I waved my hand. The black stone steely embedded in the floor lifted up, then quickly shrank into a black wooden strip, which I held in my hand. I spun it nice, just like before. Fits perfectly. Li Wuju couldn't handle it anymore. What are you doing? Since this is a debate, where's your sword intent? Show its attribute. If you haven't even grasped sword intent, your Daluo sword sect loses on attribute. That flashy stuff is useless. That's not how swordsmanship works. I replied offhand, slowly raised my measuring ruler, pointed my sword toward Li Wuju and lightly stepped forward. Just one step crack. Li Wuju's intimidating sword intent suddenly fractured. Li Wuju screamed, fell to his knees with a thud. Blood gushed from his mouth. Like crazy, 100 times worse than what happened to Lei Dong. Meanwhile, I stayed chill, slowly put away the ruler, smiling. At that moment, everyone was dumbfounded. They thought Li Wuju would overpower everyone today. But Mo Li suddenly appeared and stole his thunder, crushed his sword intent. Shen Qingqiu's heart raced. Watching this, he could barely breathe. He quickly turned to Shen Mengli. She was full of joy, like she'd expected this outcome. Not surprised at all. Li Tianxing jumped off the spirit treasure in a flash.
he held Liu Wogji in his arms.
Checked Li Wuji's condition. His face instantly twisted with rage. Li Tianxing's own son. A once in 10,000 years sword genius from Li Jianzhi. Now, some guy at true immortal level has completely ruined his foundation. Looking for trouble, Ni Tianxing radiated furious energy. A faint purple halo appeared behind his head, glowing brightly. That really scared me. But right after that, a graceful figure appeared in front of me. She stared coldly. Ni Tianxing, don't forget the rules you set. If you want to fight, I'll go with you. If you want to keep going, bring your people. But if you admit defeat, then disband Yujian Pavilion. Who else would you challenge with your people? Ni Tianxing's group looked at each other. No one dared to speak. Li Tianxing's face was changing constantly.
He didn't say a word.
He picked up Li Wuji and shot up into the sky, riding that flashy flying sword, turned into a streak of light, disappeared at the horizon. Shen Qingku and the elders approached Shen Mengli. Shen Qingku, still not clear on things, was about to ask Shen Mengli. Mengli turned and faced me, knelt to the ground, gave a respectful bow. Disciple Shen Mengli greets master, welcomes master. Shen Qingku was stunned. Master? Mengli, isn't your master Jiu Xingge? The disciples nearby looked confused too. The Gaian and the Zixuan were also dumbfounded. I chuckled and said, I'm Jiu Xingge. Moli, that name. I just use occasionally. Shen Qingku swallowed and looked at me. heard Shen Mengli brag about me countless times. But Shen Qingku never took it seriously. Haven't ascended in 100,000 years. Clearly not talented enough. Even if I did ascend, I'd just be a true immortal starting from scratch. That's all. But today this true immortal, who just ascended yesterday, smashed Li Wuji's alliance with one kick. And in just one night, my aura got even stronger than yesterday. If I'm really Shen Mengli's master, then Shen Qingku called out immediately. All disciples of Daluo Sword Sect, greet Grandmaster. Suddenly, countless disciples bowed. The voices greeting Grandmaster echoed loudly. The Gaian snapped out of it. Damn, isn't he from Zhuanshan continent? After that, Shen Mengli and I left the training grounds. I sat in a chair and looked around. This sect is managed pretty well. Never expected you, girl, had such skills. Not bad, not bad. Shen Mengli obediently sat by my side, smiling sweetly. She couldn't take her eyes off me. More than 10,000 years. Finally saw Master in the spirit realm. Shen Mengli's mood was sky high now. Shen Qingku and the elders took seats around us. They watched me curiously. Although my seniority is high, I have no direct relations with them.
They
Don't admire and rely on me like Shen Mengli does. But my sword talent is honestly terrifying. Master, you're a true immortal now, but I can sense your aura is deep. How many layers? Everyone nearby, Shen Qingku and the others instantly looked over. They wondered that too, though the question sounded weird. A true immortal who just ascended yesterday, how many layers could they have? Even if you're highly talented, to reach first layer true immortal would take at least 500 years. 9 layers of true immortal. I just replied casually. Everyone was stunned when I said that. 9 layers of true immortal. Ascended yesterday. Slept one night. Already 9 layers of true immortal. Is cultivation really this casual? It took Shen Mengli 7,000 years to reach 9 layers of true immortal. It took Shen Qingku 8,000 years for 9 layers of true immortal. The other elders took about the same. But even the super confident Shen Mengli looked completely shocked now. That's insanely fast. Girl, what level are you at now? Celestial Immortal 4th layer. Just reached it over 100 years ago. So after Celestial Immortal, what's next? I kept asking. Still not that familiar with the cultivation system in the spirit realm. Golden Immortal. After that is Daluo Immortal. Then Immortal King, Immortal Emperor. But hardly anyone mentions those. Because the further you go, the slower the cultivation. Takes 10,000 or even 100,000 years. Or even 1,000,000 years. I nodded. Not possible for others. But I've got my system. No need to worry at all. After all, a tribulation stage can't live for 100,000 years. But I made it. And earlier, Li Tianxing was staring me down. What's that halo behind your heads? Looks pretty cool. That's the purple aura of merit. You get it once you reach Celestial Immortal. No need to cultivate it. It's the mark that separates Celestial Immortals from true immortals. Shen Mengli explained. Purple aura of merit? I muttered. At this rate, one more night's sleep. And I should break through to Celestial Immortal. So I'll have that halo too. Looks pretty cool. Master, don't rush. Your cultivation speed is fast. Advancing to a high immortal is inevitable. After speaking, it seemed as if she remembered something. She then added, the Measure Heaven Ruler can't be used in the spirit realm. If Master needs a handy weapon, the Grand Luo Sword Sect's treasure vault has some. Although their quality is poor, they're good enough for a short time. Thinking of divine weapons and spirit treasures. I just remembered I haven't checked in today. So I casually chose to check in. Ding, check-in successful. Congratulations, host. This check-in triggered a critical strike. You received cultivation rewards. Received the innate ancient treasure, empty sky sealing seal. Received immortal art, 1 sword to slay immortals. I was surprised. A critical check-in. It was the same when I was in the lower realm. Every critical strike gives good stuff. Many of my good items came from critical check-ins. The more given, the better. I was just worrying about not having a weapon. And it gave me an empty sky wind wing. Its grade is a virtue supreme treasure. I know very well that critical check-ins basically give ceiling level items. It also gave me an immortal art. This check-in is perfect. Shen Mengli, Shen Qingku, and the other elders in front of me A crowd of beautiful women were all stunned, because as we were talking, behind my head, a faint purple halo appeared. That was the purple key of merit. Just now I was a true immortal, at the 9th heaven, and now I've advanced to high immortal. Master, you… Shen Mengli stammered for a long time, unable to utter a single word, not to mention Shen Qingku and the others. They were completely dumbfounded. Shen Mengli's master was actually so abnormal. Ascended yesterday, and already a high immortal today. The purple key of merit even appeared. What's wrong? I just casually advanced a bit. Not bad, I nodded in satisfaction. I wasn't that far off to begin with. With the speed of spiritual energy conversion, I would have basically advanced to the high immortal realm within a few days anyway. And now, a check-in, still a critical strike. It gave me 10 times the cultivation reward. Silence. Everyone was silent. Because only silence could express their feelings. And even a hint of speechlessness. But I didn't take it to heart. Oh, Mengli, let me ask you something. How are spirit treasures categorized by grade? Hearing this, Shen Mengli came back to her senses. Spirit treasures are inherently magic weapons of a certain grade. In the spirit realm, magic weapons are scarce. Unlike the lower realm, where they can be easily refined. The lowest grade of magic weapon is a spirit treasure, but even spirit treasures are extremely hard to obtain. After spirit treasures come immortal treasures, which are even rarer. I've been lucky enough to see one, but never owned one. I was a bit taken aback. After spirit treasures, it's actually immortal treasures. And it's only the second grade of magic weapon. Shen Mengli has been in the spirit realm for 13,000 years. Yet she hasn't even obtained one. What about ancient treasures then? Ancient treasures are the grade after immortal treasures. I've only heard of them. It's likely there aren't even a few in the entire lower realm. Shen Mengli shrugged. She was rather curious. I just ascended yesterday. How do you know about ancient treasures? I thought about it. The system reward, isn't that an ancient treasure? It's an innate ancient treasure. An innate ancient treasure is an ancient treasure. Right? No. It's different. Ancient treasures in ancient times were crafted by powerful figures who could refine them at immense cost. Innate ancient treasures are born from the heavenly Dao, unique wonders that seize the creation of heaven and earth. They've always been a legend. It's unknown if they even exist. My eyes lit up. That amazing? A good item born from the heavenly Dao. Master, why are you asking about these? If you want a magic weapon, I've acquired 7 or 8 spirit treasures over the years. You can pick one. She thought I was curious and wanted a magic weapon. But all of Shen Mengli's were spirit treasures. No. I shook my head. Right. What about immortal arts? In the lower realm, I never heard of such a thing. In the spirit realm, there exists a means of attack different from cultivation techniques, similar to martial arts in the lower realm, but more powerful. It's called a divine ability. Among divine abilities, immortal arts are a distinct grade. Like innate ancient treasures, they only exist in legends.
And
It's said immortal arts carry a certain power of heavenly Dao rules. Divine abilities are incredibly powerful, so they're good stuff too. Exactly, at the same time. The immortal art one acquired was seamlessly integrated into my soul system. Rewards are truly great. No need to learn it. It's directly absorbed through inheritance. Learned automatically. Can be used right away. Of course, I also understood the function of this one sword to slay immortals. This one sword can instantly kill a golden immortal. But it can only instantly kill a golden immortal. It doesn't work on those above golden immortals. And it doesn't work on those below golden immortals either. Knowing its effect, my mouth twitched. Is it strong, you ask? Of course it is. Instantly killing a golden immortal with one sword. Shen Qingku and the others also spoke up. The bet is now over. Li Tianxing left with his people. That means they lost. According to the bet, their Yijian pavilion should disband on the spot. That Li Wuji is Li Tianxing's beloved. The hope for Yijian pavilion's rise was crushed by my own hand. That Li Tianxing is probably spitting blood with anger right now. Too bad a guy like Li Tianxing won't honor the bet. Yijian pavilion won't disband. He'll just play dumb at most. Shen Mengli also sighed. There's no choice. If we really turn hostile and fight, both sides will suffer losses. It's not worth it. Hearing this, I frowned. Girl, you've been in the spirit realm for over 10,000 years. How can you still be so soft-hearted? They're bullying my little chubby girl now. To become Dao companions? Dream on. If I hadn't arrived in time, who knows what might have happened? Since he made the bet himself, then he should admit defeat. If he doesn't disband, we'll help him disband it. Shen Mengli's face flushed. She said, a little annoyed, Master, how old am I? And you still call me little chubby girl? After a brief moment of stupefaction, Shen Qingku and the others burst out laughing. They were all shaking with laughter. Shen Mengli quickly changed the subject. Master, you just said we'd help them disband. How? Are we really going to fight? I waved my hand. We will fight, but there's no rush. Rest for a few days. Once the sleepy chicken art reaches high immortal fifth heaven or higher, and with the empty sky ceiling seal, it's a sure thing. Early the next morning, I woke up in my cozy little cabin by the cliff. After so many years, I still haven't broken the habit of sleeping, because there's no need to cultivate at all. Sleeping, for me, is pure enjoyment. Not bad, I've reached the third immortal heaven. I'm moving way faster than I expected. I yawned. I was about to drift back to sleep. But then I remembered I hadn't checked in today. So I decided to check in right away. Ding, check-in successful. Congrats, you've earned cultivation points. You've got 10 Huanglong pills. Meanwhile, in the Daluo Hall, Shen Mengli and the others had already gathered. Mengli, isn't your master moving in to live with you? He likes that kind of environment. Let him be. These days, we're planning the sect's defense and the protective barrier. I keep thinking Li Tianqing isn't done yet. He'll probably cause some trouble. So your master isn't coming? At this hour, he's most likely still sleeping in. Just ignore him. Shen Qingku was a bit shocked. An immortal realm, wow. A dignified upper immortal sleeping in. Shen Qingku barely even remembers what sleep feels like. Because he cultivates at night. The rest he gets is about the same as sleep. And he can boost his power too. This prime time shouldn't be wasted sleeping. But for Shen Mengli, I sleep in. He's used to it. At the same time, Li Tianqing had checked Li Wuji's injuries. His expression shifted constantly. He's recovering pretty well. Li Wuji can move around freely now. His meridians can be fixed. But his sword intent is destroyed. Totally ruined. That sword intent was Li Wuji's core. And just then, someone reported scout intel from behind. Intel's back. Yesterday, Mo Li wasn't a guest at Daluo's sword sect. He's Shen Mengli's master. Once those words were out, Anai Tianxing was stunned. Blue Star Ascenders. Everyone waited years for that master. About that name that showed up on the Ascension list 2 days ago. Daluo Sword Sect. Started searching the area around the Washing Immortal Pool. Meanwhile, other Blue Star Ascenders around the 9 provinces. Most of them are hunting for Anai Tianxing. Cold sweat popped on his back instantly.
He knows exactly what I mean.
Even though, just like Shen Qingku, before I ascended, they all looked down on someone like me, who took 100,000 years to ascend. But now, I seem pretty legit. Just 1 day after ascending, I shattered Li Wuji's sword intent with one stomp. Seriously scary. I should have killed him yesterday, no matter what. Li Tianxing was starting to regret it. Sect leader, what do we do now? That bet? What bet? Just fooling around. What, you want me to disband the sect? You've got some nerve. Turns out Shen Mengli and the others were right. Li Tianxing really has no shame. That disciple instantly shut up. Li Tianxing pondered for a few seconds. Suddenly said, Wuji, follow me. Nobody else, stay back. Or you'll be killed. Then he led Li Wuji toward the back mountain. Dad, where are we going? He can walk, but his eyes look dull. His aura is all messy. Shut up and just follow. Right now, Li Tianxing was brimming with energy and burning with hatred. His chest was heaving from the rage. He had just one thought: revenge.
Take down Daluo Sword Sect.
Kill Mo Li. After walking a bit, Li Tianxing stopped at a cliff out back. He looked around, then started making hand seals nonstop. The cliff began to warp and shift. Soon, an ancient, weathered door appeared. He bowed respectfully to the door and humbly called out, "Disciple, Li Tianxing needs to discuss something urgent with Ancestor," begging Ancestor for a meeting. Li Wuji by his side was silent, carefully keeping him company, but inside he was super shocked. Even though he knows Li Tianxing claims he's got it all figured out. It's kind of overrated, but he's honestly really strong. Able to create a sect and keep it thriving for thousands of years, that's no joke. But now he's being so respectful to the person inside the cave. Just who is this Ancestor Li Tianxing keeps mentioning? After waiting a few minutes, a slightly aged voice came from inside. "Come in and talk." In the center of the hall, there's an old man sitting on a mat, thin all over, sitting on the mat, one knee up, elbow resting on it, dark yellowish eyes fixed on the two. "Ancestor, Li Tianxing gave an awkward smile, started to speak, but before he could finish, the Ancestor suddenly stretched out a skinny hand. A huge pull yanked him forward, dragged Li Tianxing right over, gripped his neck tightly, threw him down to the ground. Li Tianxing instinctively tried to fight back. The purple ring of virtue appeared behind his head, but in a second, it was sealed and vanished. "Ancestor, please let me explain." The old man tossed him aside, throwing Li Tianxing away. A loud bang as he slammed into the wall of the stone hall. "I've told you many times. Don't disturb me unless you have to. Don't break the seal. Are you just ignoring everything I say?" Then he turned his head to look at Li Wuji. Li Wuji was so scared he didn't even dare move, because at the exact moment the old man attacked, he saw behind the old man's head there was an even greater merit aura. The purple ring was golden. That means this old man has golden threads. Li Tianxing didn't dare hesitate. He bent over and called out, "Patriarch, something big has happened. I really hope you can help me out." Then he explained everything about the De Luo sword sect. The old man was silent for a long time after listening. "I've heard of Jiyu Shingei from Blue Star. Anyone who knows Blue Star's ascenders knows about him. He's their patriarch. You're right to be worried. If you don't get rid of him now, once they unite, you're dead for sure. That's a sect powerful enough to sweep through the spirit realm." After speaking, the old man glanced at Li Wuji. Just a glance at Li Wuji, and he felt like all the blood and flesh in his body, even his soul, had been seen right through by the old man, seeing that his foundation really was destroyed. But his natural talent was still intact. The old man licked his lips. His eyes flickered as he looked at Li Wuji. "That's what I meant, Elder. With his foundation destroyed, this guy's path as an immortal is over. But his bones are still useful. You can have him, Patriarch." Li Wuji, lying on the side, was dumbfounded after hearing this. "What? You're giving me to this old man?" Li Wuji glanced at the old man, especially at that weird look in his eyes, and swallowed hard. He instinctively glanced at the old man's crotch below his green robe. His heart thudded hard. Is this old man a pervert? Wow, you're really willing to do this. If that's the case, this kid belongs to me now. The old man laughed heartily and waved his hand for Li Wuji to come over. Li Wuji's body flew over uncontrollably. He landed flat on his back right beside the old man. Li Wuji tried to fight back, but his body couldn't move at all. He couldn't even speak. Li Tianxing looked hopefully at the patriarch and asked, "Can you help me get rid of the De Luo sword sect and kill Jiyu Shingei while you're at it?" "As a reward, I'll do whatever you ask." But the old man shook his head. "There are restrictions I cast in Lishan. Leaving for a short time is fine, but leaving Lishan for good, that's impossible. At least not for another 3,000 years." Li Tianxing's face turned a bit ugly. "I've already given you my son, and you're giving me this nonsense? Free food and drink, huh?" The old man took a deep breath. "I can help you, but I won't leave Lishan for now. Tell you what, bring all the De Luo sword sect elites here to your sword pavilion. And Jiyu Shingei too. When they're here, I'll strike. And kill them right on the spot. How does that sound?" Li Tianxing's eyes lit up. "Of course, that's perfect. If the Da Luo sword sect experts and you both die, the De Luo sword sect will be mine for the taking. But, Patriarch, you can't kill Shen Mengli," Li Tianxing said with some hesitation. The old man glanced at Li Wuji lying on the floor. He gave a creepy smile. "I get it. Don't worry. I'll keep him alive for you, so you can have your fun." Li Tianxing was thrilled. He looked at Li Wuji one last time. bowed and retreated. Patriarch, he said, just give me 2 days. I'll bring them all here. On the other side of Lishan, I was hanging out in the main hall with Shen Mengli and others. Right now, my level had already increased to upper immortal 5th heaven. With the yellow dragon pill, my body was much tougher too. I am improving way faster than I thought. My level has already surpassed Shen Mengli's. Just 2 days after ascension, I've overtaken Shen Mengli, who's been here for 13,000 years. Of course, I've passed all the other elders too. The women sat around, chatting and laughing. They were already looking at me with admiration. I've heard Shen Mengli brag about her master so many times, but I always thought it was just her being starstruck. She was probably exaggerating. But seeing it now, it's not an exaggeration at all. Now nobody here can see through my cultivation level. Master, do you have any plans? Not for now. But you've been in the spirit realm for so many years. Have you ever heard anything about your master's wife? Lady Rookinghan? Shen Mengli subconsciously said she never met her, because 90,000 years ago, she had already ascended. She was my first disciple, and my partner. The 9 provinces are huge, and I haven't even left them yet. I never got to meet Master's wife myself, but don't worry, Master. I did hear something about her. She seems to be in Zhongzhou. Senior brother Dan Chenzi once traveled all over Zhongzhou for a millennium for a special herb. I got this info from her. Shen Mengli told me the truth. The name Dan Chenzi got my attention. I was surprised for a moment. You've met little Dan Chenzi, the medicine freak? Yeah, Dan Chenzi. I first met him in an herb shop. He had a talent for alchemy, so I kept him by my side. And he eventually ascended too. That Dan Chenzi, he's obsessed with alchemy now. He only cultivates as a side thing. He doesn't care much about becoming an immortal. But he loves pills. Once I ran into Dan Chenzi's sect. It's just 3,000 li north of Daluo Mountain. Sometimes they even send disciples here with pills to help us out. The Daluo Sword Sect. That's what they said. Master's wife is in Zhongzhou, and it sounds like she's pretty well known. I was surprised and relieved at the same time. Sounds like she's really made a name for herself. That's good. I'll go check on her in a few days. Turns out that little medicine freak started his own sect too. The name's kind of random. He just calls it Medicine Sect.
Classic him.
After that, I got curious and asked, besides Dan Chenzi, in these 13,000 years, have you seen other fellow disciples? Why aren't you all together? Why so scattered? Shen Mengli nodded. I've met quite a few. Whenever we run into each other, tears are pretty common. But every ascended disciple has one belief. They all wait for Master to ascend. After Master ascends, they can show up at any random ascension pool in the 9 provinces. So nobody knows exactly where. When new people ascend to the spirit realm, anything can happen. So to be safe, everyone's spread out across the 9 provinces, hoping to protect us as soon as Master arrives. Sorry you had to go through all this, but it's fine, now that I'm here. Once I find Master's wife, the whole sect can gather again. Shen Mengli got all excited. This is the wish of Shen Mengli and all the Blue Star Ascenders. It's what we all want. Shen Qingku and the others looked at each other, seeing the shock in each other's eyes. Anyone with some status in the spirit realm knows how terrifying the Blue Star sect is. When they gather together, they can sweep across all the 9 provinces of the spirit realm. Right then, a disciple suddenly reported that people from the Yijian Pavilion arrived. Just some messenger. Not even at the immortal level. Our pavilion leader invites the Daluo Sword Sect's master and elders to come to Yijian Pavilion by tomorrow to discuss the dissolution of Yijian Pavilion. That guy really wants to disband it. Fine, disband it then. What's there to discuss? Any other news? After that disciple left, Shen Qingku instantly said it's definitely a trap. We can't go. Shen Mengli and the others agreed. But I said, what kind of trap could it be? Let's check it out tomorrow.
Now,
my cultivation is on par with Li Tianxing. By tomorrow, I can totally crush him. With the Kongtong seal, I'll destroy them right away. No matter what the scheme is, after killing Li Tianxing, Yijian Pavilion will fall apart. Meanwhile, at Yijian Pavilion, Li Tianxing had already summoned all the elders. They gathered together. After you came back, Pavilion Master, we didn't see the young master with you. Where is he? Before finishing the question, Li Tianxing's icy stare swept over. The elder closed his mouth instantly. Li Tianxing didn't bother explaining further. He just said the message has been sent to Daluo Sword Sect. If they don't come, we'll have to figure something else out. What if they do come? An elder asked. Then they'll stay here forever. Daluo Sword Sect will be ours from now on. Li Tianxing sneered. The elders exchanged looks. I'll activate the mountain defense array. Set up an ambush and formations. If they show up tomorrow. Before finishing the sentence, Li Tianxing just waved his hand. No, don't do anything. Open the mountain gate tomorrow. And let them come. Li Tianxing didn't want to fight, or else he would have attacked already. Why bother asking Ancestor for help? But if nothing's prepared, when they come, what do we do? If we want to kill Shen Mengli and the others, it's gonna be tough. Just do as I say. I've got a plan, Li Tianxing said confidently. Next day I got up super early, not woke up by myself, but by Shen Mengli's loud knocking. She basically forced me awake. Annoyed, I opened the door. Why scream like that in the morning? Can't you let me sleep? Shen Mengli just giggled.
Hey, Master.
Did you forget what day it is? We're heading to Yijian Pavilion. Yeah, but do we have to go so early? I rolled my eyes, checked my cultivation while talking. Pretty good after a night's sleep. I'm now at Immortal level 8. With this pace, I might shock everyone first thing tomorrow. Looked at Shen Qingku and the others. They were all ready to go. A bunch of beautiful girls, waiting for me. I felt a bit energized. Since we're ready, let's go, I yawned right after. Shen Mengli just grabbed my arm, and we headed out. On the way, I realized I hadn't checked in yet today. So I checked in. Check-in successful. This time I got a critical hit. Got a cultivation reward. Got the Phoenix 9 Heavens pill. Congrats. Host, you got the Underworld King technique. Whoa, another critical hit leveling up. 4 days, 4 check-ins. 2 critical hits. What's a critical hit? What's that? Shen Mengli asked curiously. Nothing. Just focus on flying. Watch the way. Shen Qingku and the others could clearly feel that my aura, which was already deeper than last night, had suddenly soared again. My cultivation reached the 9th immortal level. It was pretty obvious. Shen Qingku and the others were frustrated. Every level up for an immortal takes 1,000 years of tough training. But mine just skyrocketed. I started looking into my new rewards. Phoenix 9 Heavens pill. Since it's from a check-in critical hit, it must not be trash. Check the info. It's for breaking through to Daluo Immortal. Has the power of fate inside. Can help a golden immortal become Daluo. Golden immortals don't break through directly. Next, I checked the immortal technique. The last one was a killer move. Kind of weird, but basically insane for golden immortal kills. Wonder how this new technique is. Hope it's not just defensive. Underworld King Body. I got the Underworld King Body. I'm unbeatable below Daluo Immortal. Passive trait lets me be immune to any attacks from Jingshen. Only immune to Jingshen. Doesn't work below Jingshen. Or above Jingshen. It's super precise. These last 2 check-ins really target Jingshen. What did Jingshen ever do to you? I'm at a loss whether to laugh or cry. Just then, Shen Mengli's voice snapped me back to reality. Master, that's Mount Li up ahead. Yijian Pavilion is on the west side of Mount Li. Chances are, they're fully prepared at Yijian Pavilion. You're stronger than me, but I still feel it's risky. How about you wait here? Shen Qingku and I will go check it out. Let's see what tricks Li Tianxing is up to. Just as she finished, I gave her a hard smack, right on Shen Mengli's head. She clutched her head, looking wronged. You've really got guts now, daring to look down on me? I'm an upper immortal at the 9th heaven. Li Tianxing can't scare me. Meanwhile, in the mountain behind Yijian Pavilion, an old skinny man's eyes slowly opened. Disciples from Daluo Sword Sect are here. At the main hall entrance, Li Tianxing was already waiting. Beside him stood the elders and disciples of Yijian Pavilion. Shen Mengli immediately agreed. A bet's a bet. Fine, we'll disband. Why did you call us? What's the reason? But Li Tianxing just shook his head. Looking surprised, he said, disband? Where did you get that? That bet was just a joke. Sect Master Shen, you really took it seriously? Shameless. I knew it. Li Tianxing, you are no upright man. So why did you ask us here? I've said it many times. Shen Mengli and I will become Dao partners. And then Daluo Sword sect emerges into my Yujin pavilion. After Li Tianxing said that, he glanced over at me, feeling way more confident. Shen Qingku yelled, "What a pipe dream! Only in your dreams will we become Dao partners. Go look in a mirror. See if you're even worthy." I cut in saying, "Stop spouting crap. I don't have time to watch this. Enough nonsense, I'll be clear. We're here today to wipe Yujin Pavilion off the map." Hearing that, Li Tianxing burst out laughing. "Just a new ascendant to the spirit realm. And you got the nerve to talk big. I don't mind telling you. Besides Shen Mengli, I'm going to enjoy myself. The rest of you aren't leaving. Being buried in Yujin Pavilion is already an honor. Now even I was curious. Where does Li Tianxing's confidence come from? As an upper immortal in the ninth heaven, I totally crush Li Tianxing. Plus, I'm holding a primordial treasure, the Kongtong Heaven Sealing Seal. I didn't even brag. So why is Li Tianxing acting so cocky? What a big mouth. You're dead right now." Shen Mengli couldn't take it anymore. She pulled out a jade sword. But right as she spoke, a sword beam shot out from the back mountain. A black aura dragon soared into the sky. A loud booming laugh echoed over. "You juniors talk big. Today with Mingyu Ancestor here, let's see who lives and who dies." Shen Mengli was confused. Who the heck is Mingyu Ancestor? What kind of figure is that? While puzzled, a thin stick-like figure appeared in the sky. He was super fast, and in a blink appeared before Li Tianxing. They saw merit key behind the old man's head. A golden merit wheel, the mark of a gold immortal. Shen Mengli's face instantly fell. "Master, run. I'll hold him off." Shen Mengli lowered her voice to me.
But honestly,
"An upper immortal blocking a gold immortal is close to impossible. I don't know him." The merit wheel stared at Shen Mengli, confused. "What's going on? Why is that old man's merit key that color? Way cooler looking than ours. How'd he get it?" Shen Mengli looked like she might cry. "Seriously, at a time like this, you're still focused on that thing? Does it look good or not? That's the merit wheel. That old man is a gold immortal." Hearing Shen Mengli, the old man grinned proudly. "Little girl, you must be Shen Mengli. Relax, you'll live. As for the others," the old man spoke mysteriously. But before he could finish, I let out a screech, staring excitedly at Shen Mengli. "Amazed immortal, really? That old man is an amazed immortal." Shen Mengli was dumbfounded. What's with that look? Excited and happy. That's genuine amazement. The old man and Li Tianxing were stunned too. This reaction isn't normal. I couldn't help glancing at the old man. Shouted, "Hey, old man. Speak up. Are you really amazed, immortal? If you lie, you'll get struck by lightning." The old man frowned. "My name is Mingyu. I never lie. Don't you recognize this merit wheel?" My eyes lit up more and more. Just learned about it. And no wonder I can sense your aura. Wow, for real. Damn, this is awesome. Everyone else there was speechless, all staring at me like I'm crazy. What nonsense is he even saying? They had no clue how thrilled I was inside. I've got 2 immortal skills ready. One can instantly kill a gold immortal. One makes me immune to gold immortals. In other words, no matter what happens today, even if I get hit for days on end, they couldn't touch a hair on my head. But as for me, once I strike, I could slay an immortal with one sword. "Master, what do we do?" "Even if we run, I don't think I can hold him off. If you have a plan, then get lost. Wait, just stay behind me. Stand back and be quiet. With your master here, gold immortal means nothing." I calmly said. Li Tianxing was getting impatient. Urged, "Ancestor, let's not wait. Things might change. It's time to make a move. Do I need you to tell me what to do?" Mingyu Ancestor's dry yellow eyes glared at Li Tianxing. Only then did he come back to his senses and looked back at us. He licked his cracked lips. "Killing you feels like a waste. All these girls are at the immortal stage. Good talent too." After he spoke, "Wait, what does that mean?" "You old bastard. You can't judge people at all. The girls have good bones, but I'm not. You better take a closer look." I was seriously pissed. Mingyu Ancestor's mouth twitched, glanced awkwardly at me. You're okay too. That's more like it. I nodded, satisfied. Shen Mengli nervously tugged my sleeve. Master, this is not the time to joke around. Come up with something quick. I squeezed her cool little hand, smiled a bit. Don't worry, disciple. I'm about to smash that old bastard's head. With that, I looked at Mingyu Ancestor, ready to take him out first. Time for my slaying sword move? But right then, a sharp whistling sound rings out. Mingyu's face suddenly changes. He suddenly opens his hands and throws out a jade piece about the size of a palm. Looking closely, it's actually as thick as a pinky finger. A beautifully crafted silver nail. Blocking the silver nail is an ancient jade floating in front of Mingyu. On it, there's a strangely twisted yin-yang fish design carved through. Damned soul-piercing nail. It still found me. Mingyu's face looks a bit grim. The next second, the soul-piercing nail trembles slightly on the ground, turns into a cold flash, shoots away like lightning. Looking in the direction the soul-piercing nail went, a flaming war chariot rolls in with roaring thunderclouds. Charging fiercely, on the massive chariot, shadows of people crowd together. The 5 in front are dressed in lavish robes. The leader is an old man. He looks like a classic immortal. The most striking thing is, these 5 up front, each has a golden merit wheel floating behind their heads. 5 golden immortals. Usually in this remote place, you wouldn't see a golden immortal for half a year. But today, including Mingyu, 6 suddenly appeared. You really didn't leave. The leader sneers as he casts his spell.
He raises his hand.
Hundreds of soul-piercing nails float densely in front. Like an incantation, they surge toward Mingyu. Mingyu's pupils shrink suddenly. He shouts loudly. In a blink, a protective shield forms like a giant bowl, covers him upside down. Ding, ding, ding. Every soul-piercing nail is blocked outside the shield. The shield stays smooth and unharmed. After a slight tremor,
It stabilizes again.
the thunder and fire chariot now arrives. The old man leader glares angrily. So, Mingyu Qijuan Jade Ruyi was really locked in the underworld valley by you. Mingyu gasps a few times, regains his composure. He finds the Qijuan Jade Rui's defensive array is steady. Finally lets out a heavy sigh of relief. But now we're a bit confused. What's going on here? Why is another group showing up and fighting the Underworld Valley Ancestor? Shen Mengli says in surprise. That's Fire Virtue Sect's Thunderfire Chariot and Sect Master Yanjing's soul-piercing nails. So what does Fire Virtue Sect do? Why are they getting involved in our conflict with the Sword Pavilion? I ask, puzzled, but I'm not as tense as Shen Mengli's group. Setting aside everything else, those 6 golden immortals are actually the weakest to me. They're the last ones I need to worry about, Shen Mengli explains. Fire Virtue Sect is a major sect in Jinling City, about 5,000 miles away. Very deep roots. Rumor has it 10,000 years ago, Fire Virtue Sect had a traitor, practiced evil techniques secretly, was looked down upon by the sect. They wanted to execute the traitor, but after he killed hundreds of Fire Virtue Sect disciples, he escaped. Before fleeing, he even stole one of the sect's immortal treasures. Looking at it now, perhaps Mingyu is actually that traitor. At this moment, Mingyu laughs loudly. What a scene. Qijuan Jade Rui's defense is unbreakable. You all haunt me for 10 millennia. I've been hiding in Lishan for 10,000 years. You still managed to sniff me out. Yanjing follows, speaking coldly. Qijuan Jade Rui is our sect's greatest treasure. Of course the defense works well, but you can hide for a while, not a lifetime. Mingyu snorts coldly. I am at Golden Immortal 9th Heaven Peak, supporting the Qijuan Jade Rui's defensive array. 3 hours is easy, but it won't even need 3 hours. He looks at us, licks his lips. There are quite a few immortals here. Once I drain them, I might reach Daluo status. Then you should be the ones scared. Hearing this, Yanjing and his group look uneasy. Mingyu doesn't want to delay today. It's life or death now. A mass of black energy rises, sweeps toward all directions. Underworld Valley is about to attack. The Ancestor attacks first. Jiyu Shinge goes against fate.
He shouts.
Shakes the whole battlefield. Everyone else doesn't mind. If Jiyu Shinge doesn't die, Blue Star Ascenders will gather and skin him alive. Jiyu Shinge and Yanjing are stunned. Could it be that Blue Star group? Jiyu Shinge is full of doubt. Lately, Blue Star Ascenders have been causing chaos. All for their ancestor, Jiyu Shinge. I do remember. That woman seems to be Shen Mengli from Daluo Sword Sect. A Blue Star Ascender. So Jiyu Shinge is probably another golden immortal. He says it firmly. Ignore him. Break the formation with everything you've got. Capture Mingyu and the immortal treasure. Everyone starts moving. Don't touch the shield inside. Seeing thick black smoke rolling in, I frown. What kind of evil magic is Mingyu practicing? Looks like he's working with gas tanks, making all this filthy smoke. After saying that, he tossed something out. Kongtong Heaven Sealing Seal. It instantly floated high above the Yujian pavilion. I formed a hand seal with one hand. A terrifying spiritual pressure seemed to crush the sky. It came crashing down. Ancestor Mingyu. Billowing black smoke had just started to rise. The next second there was a pop, like a puff of ash slapped out. It vanished. Suddenly everything went silent. Ancestor Mingyu stood there, still looked pretty imposing, but the black smoke was gone. Honestly, a bit awkward, staring at the Kongtong Heaven Sealing Seal, eyes full of shock and disbelief. At the same time, all the Lidiangxing elders, Shen Mengli, Shen Qingku, and Jian Jin were all stunned.
Dao Yu.
That's the ancient fortress. Yan Jin's old face suddenly turned serious. There was greed in his eyes. So that means
He's probably not that Jiyu Shinge from Blue Star.
this guy's cultivation may be at the peak of celestial immortal ninth heaven. Way stronger than anyone expected. But I remember that Jiyu Shinge from Blue Star just ascended a few days ago. In just a few days. How could this happen? In just a few days, he reached celestial immortal ninth heaven. That's just impossible. If he's only a celestial immortal, then that ancient fortress is ours for sure. Yan Jin's ambition was obvious. Right now, we need to break Qijuan Jade Rui's barrier first. Everyone combined their powers to break through. Forget about Mingyu for now. Kill Jiyu Shinji first. Yan Jin ordered sharply, sounding ruthless. He definitely knows what's most important. If we get that fortress, letting Mingyu go doesn't matter. As for Mingyu, his eyes got even brighter. He actually has an ancient treasure. He was overjoyed. Today's my time to rise. Absorb the roots and step into Daluo, then snatch the treasure. If I absorb these, advance to Daluo and grab the treasure at once, I'd be unstoppable. Shen Mengli and Shen Qingku stared blankly at the Kongtong Heaven Sealing Seal in the sky, still stunned after ages. After a while, Shen Qingku murmured, "Your master is honestly terrifying." Completely awestruck, Shen Mengli asked curiously, "Master, what's that treasure?" Eyes full of curiosity. I nodded. Kongtong Wind Sky Wings. After getting the ancient treasure, this was the first time. I used it so I wasn't very skilled. Just as I finished speaking, Yan Jingjing ripped open the barrier by force. Move in and kill Jiu Shinge. Two of the golden immortals moved fastest. They flashed forward and charged in to them. I'm just a celestial immortal. Golden immortals could kill me easily. Would be an instant kill. I also heard the commotion. I swore, what the hell are you guys doing? Killing me. That old fart's no good either. But Mingyu was even faster. His clothes tore as his spirit power went wild, exposing his body. That looked like bare bones covered in skin. Purely evil. I broke a branch off the nearby bush, gripped it in my hand. One sword to slay immortals. But I have no sword. One sword to slay immortals. How can I do it without a sword? My stance just looks less cool without a real sword, so I'll use this branch as a replacement. Then I looked at Mingyu, not backing up but moving forward. He came right to me, sounding a bit mocking. Mingyu was thrilled. All he needs to do is kill me. Then the Kongtong Heaven Sealing Seal in the sky has no owner. He'll be the first to get it, and place his own soul mark on it. It was a clever plan. He really thought it through. And he was ruthless, too. A claw of black energy twisted toward me, and slashed down hard. Master, watch out. Shen Mengli's expression changed. She rushed over without hesitation. I was feeling pretty good, because I'm immune to Mingyu's attacks. Not a scratch. But Shen Mengli ruined it by rushing in. I'm safe, but she could get killed in an instant. Girl, get back. I shouted urgently, but it was too late. She would never listen anyway. She threw out all her treasures at once. Just a thought, and they flew out, circling me to create a shield. But now she was left with nothing. In a rush, I grabbed Shen Mengli's wrist, pulled her into my arms, then turned and braced myself, shielding her tightly from the black energy. The claw struck. Mingyu slowed down sharply. He tried to shoot straight up to the sky, to grab the Kongtong heaven-sealing seal. Because in his mind, I was dead, but the next second, he was stunned to see me still unharmed. Now I was truly pissed. I looked down at Shen Mengli in my arms. She was gasping hard, but thankfully not hurt. Master, shut up. I'll deal with you later. I glared at her. I'll handle this. Then I tossed Shen Mengli away and turned around, gave the branch in my hand a twirl, facing Mingyu with murderous intent in my eyes. Mingyu was dumbfounded.
He's at the peak of golden immortal ninth heaven.
But he can't instantly kill a celestial immortal. Yanjing, who just broke the barrier. People there were all stunned too. No one could react, seeing me not only unhurt, but holding a branch facing Mingyu. It looked so bizarre. Is this guy really going to fight a golden immortal with a stick? Even those two golden immortals from Woad sect were now hesitating. It just seemed weird. Should they move or not? They hesitated, but Mingyu didn't dare wait. Qijuan Jade Rui's barrier had been torn open by Yan Jin. It was too late for him to absorb the roots. His only chance at living was to kill Jiu Shenggai and take the ancient fortress. Stop pretending. Mingyu snorted coldly. He exploded with power again. All his flesh seemed to shrink a second time. The black energy grew even thicker. Seeing this, those two golden immortals couldn't sit still. If they didn't move now, Mingyu might steal the lead. So the three of them charged at me together. They weren't even close yet, but all launched their powers at me. Jiu Shenggai wouldn't survive this round. They were sure of it. But I didn't even budge. The branch in my hand was still fresh and green. I raised my hand slowly, a light motion, and instantly the wind and clouds changed color. In the whole Yijian pavilion, fierce winds howled. A terrifying aura spread out. The three golden immortals felt like venomous snakes were watching them. Their hair stood on end. Cease fire. The two Zhang elders didn't hesitate. They shouted, "This is no true immortal." Mingjiu saw the danger too. A thought popped up. Qijuan Jade Ruyi returned, floating in front of him, spinning quickly. The huge protective formation ripped open by Yan Jin, shrunk fast, turned into a golden shield, to protect himself inside. I swung the branch in my hand. All of Yijian Pavilion's land was crushed by a huge force. The first hit were two Jingshans from Huo Dezong. They just had time to look back and realized they couldn't escape, threw up all their defenses in a rush. But in a split second, sword ki swept by. Their bodies exploded apart, becoming a rain of blood, falling everywhere.
Against immortal magic.
All defense is pointless. Ningjiu didn't feel great either. The sword ki hit him instantly. Qijuan Jade Rui's shield lasted only a second, then shattered with a bang. Even the Qijuan Jade Rui itself broke in half. That's the power of the rules. No way Jingxian can handle it. If it was a real immortal behind the Jade Rui, I might not have broken that shield. But since the wielder was Jingshan Yujian, in front of Jushan, all shields rip apart. As for Mingjiu's dried-up body, it got wiped out too, vanished into nothing. A wooden stick, one sword, three Jingshans dead. From Yanjin's angle, the scene was mind-blowing. I was at the center of Yijian Pavilion. Destruction bursting all around like a nuke. Buildings and the ground full of holes and craters. The next second, I slowly looked at Yanjin, raised the stick in my hand again. Yanjin didn't say a word, just turned and ran. The thunderfire chariot under his feet turned into a streak of light, left those two Jingshans behind without a glance. And my second sword was already unleashed. Two explosions followed. Those two Jingshans met the same fate. Yanjin glanced back in panic. What the hell kind of immortal is this? 2 swings, and 5 Jingshans dead. So effortless. And split the Qijuan Jade Ruyi in half too. That's an immortal treasure. Yanjin was totally freaked out. I was speechless. Yelled, "Damn by Deng. Weren't you just trying to kill me? Why are you running now?" Full of mockery, Truth is, I couldn't reach Yanjin, but he heard my voice and shivered with fear, slapped his chest again, coughed out a mouthful of blood without hesitation. It turned into a blood mist. Yanjin rushed straight into it, made hand seals super fast, probably the fastest he's ever moved. A bloody flash disappeared across the sky. Must have been some blood escape technique, costing him blood essence and cultivation. Probably hurt his very foundation. But he was scared out of his mind. Nothing else mattered. Just had to run. He even left the Thunderfire chariot behind. Probably wished he had more legs. So pathetic. I pouted in disappointment. Could take him out, but not fast enough. That old Bai Deng is annoyingly quick. No wonder he reached Jingxian. Except for Shen Mengli. The other girls stood ramrod straight. Didn't even dare breathe heavily. They glanced at the stick I tossed aside. It was all twisted up, with a few green leaves on it. Just used that thing to kill 4 Jingxians just now. Shen Qingku heard Mengli brag about her master endless times. Used to think Shen Qingku was overrated. But seeing this now, Mengli was actually modest. He just ascended and can already slay Jingxian. And under a siege of Jingxians. Didn't even lose a hair. I blinked, looked back at Li Tianxing. He's the real target today. The rest was just extra. With a thud, he and a few Yijian Pavilion elders dropped to their knees. No hesitation. Nice and quick. Then, one after another, Li Tianxing threw all his spirit treasures in front of me.
Even emptied his storage bag.
A pile of supplies on the ground. The other elders quickly followed, scared of being too slow to hand over stuff. Big bro, no. Great Immortal, here's everything we have. Please, just spare me. I didn't recognize who you were. Banged his head on the floor several times hard. Cracked the floor with it. He didn't try to run. Wouldn't help anyway. Jiu Xingge can insta-kill Jingxians. What realm is he then? Daluo Immortal, my god. How many Daluo Immortals in all of Xiazhou? Now that I think about it, could crush Li Wuji's sword intent with one step. Makes total sense. I took their stuff without hesitation. You're targeting my little chubby girl now? Spare you. In your dreams. My tone was icy cold. I can give you anything. You can have this whole sword pavilion. All the disciples will join the Daluo sword sect. I'll just leave this place. And never come back in this life. An A Tianxing pledged his loyalty firmly. He humbled himself completely. I heard the sword pavilion disciples were violent, arrogant and domineering. These nobodies. What would I want them for? I couldn't care less. With just a thought, Kangtong Wind Heaven answered. With a buzzing sound, pressure came down. The whole sword pavilion, all disciples below immortal rank, bodies exploded and died instantly, like firecrackers going off. Just in a heartbeat. Shen Mengli and the others stared at me in shock as the pavilion was destroyed. Are you really an immortal? Seriously. One move destroyed a sect. One sword killed 3 golden immortals. Then another sword, and 2 more golden immortals died. We're all immortals. Why am I so monstrous? I said to Boe offhandedly, Chubby girl, they're all yours. Don't let a single one escape. I left no room for negotiation. When Ni Tianxing heard this, his face went green. Wait, Immortal Master. I have a supreme treasure for you. Can it buy my life? LD Tianxing and the elders nearby all had desperate looks on their faces. Supreme treasure? What is it? Show me. I don't have it here, but it's right nearby. Do you remember the old ancestor from Lishan? He's been hiding in Lishan. He's dead now, but his treasures are still here. They're in the back mountain. LD Tianxing said hurriedly. Back then, LD Tianxing chose to build the pavilion here. Not on a whim. It wasn't just to go against the Daluo sword sect either. LD Tianxing was just at true immortal level then. Traveling here, he passed the back mountain. Accidentally found a restriction. Old ancestor Mingyu was already hiding inside.
He was too afraid to come out.
To keep practicing his dark arts. He risked it and opened the restriction.
He dragged LD Tianxing in.
Then gave him the Thunder Sword technique, plus pills and treasures, helped him found his sect here. In return, LD Tianxing had to find gifted immortals for him, to use for cultivation. In the stone hall inside the mountain, I saw a few storage chests, just in the corner of the hall. In there, It's all the treasures Mingyu collected for years, but I didn't dare touch them. Now that Mingyu is dead, the treasures are all yours. You can go now, right? I nodded thoughtfully, then looked at Shen Mengli and the others. Except for LD Tianxing. Kill everyone else. Leave no one alive. I spoke decisively. I've never thought eliminating threats is a bad habit. Before heading to the back mountain, I glanced at the Thunderfire chariot in the sky. That thing was left behind by Yan Jin when he fled. Chubby girl, this is also a spirit treasure. Compared to your Dangshao jewel forest, this Thunderfire chariot is way cooler. I said with a smile. Master, why do you still call me chubby girl? I'm the sect leader now, you know. Shen Mengli pouted unhappily. She acted cutely, and even Shen Qingku and the others were stunned. After so many years, they'd never seen Shen Mengli act so girly. Probably only in front of me. Can Shen Mengli truly be herself? She completely relaxed. I chuckled. Chubby girl just rolls off the tongue better. Master, even though this Thunderfire chariot is here, it still has Yanjin's soul mark inside. No way to use it. It can only be sealed for now, Shen Mengli explained. Hearing that, I walked up to the chariot, swept it with my gaze. Others may have trouble, but it's easy for me. No matter how complex a soul seal is, it's still just an array restriction, and I'm a master of arrays too. Thinking that, I stretched out my hand and slowly brushed across the chariot. Yanjin's soul mark was like a complicated block structure, easily dismantled layer by layer, and then disappeared completely. I casually put my own soul mark on it. The Thunderfire chariot burst into flames, then automatically hovered at my feet. Now it's mine, I said, satisfied. LD Tianxing turned pale watching this. His heart was pounding. What did he just see? Jiyu Xingge just with one hand erased a terrifying soul mark. Is that even possible? Can you erase a soul mark without killing its owner? Even Daluo immortals can't do that, right? This Blue Star Elder is insane. Shen Mengli was slightly surprised. But used to my bizarre abilities, Shen Qingku and the rest were shocked too, but already pretty numb. Or just used to it, as if anything could happen with this Blue Star Elder. Nothing about him surprises them anymore. I glanced at Li Tianxing and said, let's go. Get on and head to the back mountain. Everyone set off for the rear mountain. At the same time, Yan Jin was already hundreds of miles away. His face was ghostly white. With blood loss, his energy channels were convulsing. Just then, he sensed something. He paused mid-flight. Then his face changed drastically. The Thunderfire chariot's soul imprint was gone. Did Jiyu Xingge destroy my treasure? A second later, he shook his head. No, that's not it, he murmured. My soul mark wasn't forcibly destroyed. It was erased. And thinking back, Jiyu Xingge killed 5 golden immortals like squashing ants. His real power is far above immortal. Even way above Daluo immortal. His face went pale again. He sped up once more. In a flash, he fled even farther away. Literally didn't dare to stop. At the foot of the back cliff, Shen Mengli looked around puzzled. Is this the place? Looks totally ordinary. Absolutely nothing here. She glanced at LD Tianxing. Deeply suspicious. He was up to something before dying. But I wasn't worried. There really is a restriction here. It's complex. Doesn't seem like Mingu's handiwork. I stepped up to the cliff after speaking, looking at the rocks hidden beneath thick shrubs. Not much can hide from your eyes at this cliff. The stone hall inside the mountain holds an ancient restriction that's been here for ages. It's the original ancient restriction here. When Mingyu arrived, he accidentally found the way to open it and hid inside. After closing the restriction, even mighty immortals can't sense him. Don't worry. Mingyu already told me how to unlock it.
He's dead.
Now I'm the only one who can unlock this seal. Li Tianxing sounded a bit proud as he spoke, but realized now's not the time to be smug. He quickly calmed himself. He stepped forward to open the seal. But he didn't expect this. I reached out my hand. My spiritual power slowly flowed out. The next second, the cliff in front of me began to twist. Golden patterns appeared. They spread like a spider web. In just a few breaths, the stone door appeared and opened slowly. A dark tunnel was revealed. Heaven-defying path. I took a deep breath. Even this ancient seal opens so easily. Let's go check it out. I walked in first. Man, it smells horrible here. Shen Mengli frowned and commented. Besides the old and rotten scent, there's a fishy stench mixed in. Yeah, it really reeks. We continued walking for a bit. The stone hall where Mingu's ancestor stayed came into view for everyone. The meditation mat is still here, but the old ancestor is gone. Next to the mat is a skeleton. It's dried up but not decayed yet. Shen Mengli glanced at it. Suddenly she realized, judging by the clothes, it's likely Li Wuji. How did he die? Shen Mengli looked puzzled. Li Tianxing saw the foundation was crushed by the Grand Immortal. He was useless now, but the bones were decent. Mingyu ancestor could use them. So I glanced over. Li Tianxing really gave him up. So you used your son's life to release Mingyu to kill us. And I Tianxing nodded awkwardly. He didn't dare say more. Then I looked around. In a corner, sure enough, there were 3 clean boxes. No clue what they're made of. They had illusion formations carved on them, used as storage containers. I approached the first box. Since Mingyu is dead now, the restriction is gone, so you can clearly see what's inside. The first box has some pills. There's not many, but they smell really good. Definitely good stuff. In the second box are a few spirit treasures. I took all of them. In the third box, only one thing, a manual. The dark red cover's material is unknown. It faintly gives off a sinister vibe. The cover says, Nirvana Zombie Demon, most likely written by Mingyu himself. And he kept it here so carefully. I gathered my spiritual power in my palm and crushed it into dust. Right now, Li Tianxing was hopeless. He slowly stepped back, didn't even dare to breathe. But in the next moment, I turned to look at Li Tianxing. So this is the good stuff you mentioned? My tone was a bit sarcastic. No, it's not. I really don't know. That's all that's in here. That evil technique is probably powerful. You're the one who destroyed it. That was definitely a treasure. I stayed calm, shook my head. I summoned the Kangtong seal again to suppress Li Tianxing. And I coldly said, kill. In a blink, Shen Mengli and the others didn't hesitate. They ripped him apart. I was a bit frustrated. I can kill golden immortals easily. But fighting peer-level celestial immortals is tricky. Only with the Kangtong seal am I totally sure. Then something crossed my mind. I walked to the stone wall facing the tunnel. Stopped. Reached out. There's another restriction here. And it hasn't been opened for at least 10,000 years. That means even Mingyu missed it. Thinking about it, I couldn't hold back my excitement. Stretched out a hand. Channeled my spiritual power. Started decoding and breaking the mirror.
10 minutes later.
A crisp ka sound was heard. The whole stone wall vanished. Another tunnel appeared ahead. We passed through. A stone hall appeared in front. It's much smaller than Mingu's previous hall, but the cave walls are carved with dragons and phoenixes. Very fancy. Except across from us, against the wall, there was an extremely decayed chair. Nothing else in the room. On the chair lay a dried corpse. The clothes were tattered and badly decayed too. I instinctively walked toward the corpse. If there's any treasure left, it must be on the corpse. Master, be careful. Shen Mengli reminded me nervously, then stayed close to me, watching the surroundings. I nodded, summoned the skeleton seal, held it in my hand. The red dragon armor was activated, ready to defend against the corpse. No flesh left, but the skeleton is intact. To refine bones like this, his power must have been high when alive. A true boss. Just don't know why he died here. I saw the right hand of the skeleton. It was clutching a golden tablet tightly. I scraped it off, looked it over and over in my hand. The front has the character Emperor carved on it. The back says next week. Other than that, nothing special. Could this just be some sort of ID badge? But Shen Mengli looked surprised. This thing actually looks a bit like the legendary next week Emperor token. What's that? On the border of Guizhou, each week, a heavenly Dao generates an Emperor token. Legend has it those who hold the Emperor token can influence good and evil among people, rivers and mountains. All living things fall under their rule. But I've never actually seen the Earth token before. Just heard some rumors, but it's enough to prove. The next week Earth token is a really top-tier item. Whatever, I'll keep it for now. We'll find out later if it's real. I tossed it into my storage bag and kept searching. Kept looking through stuff. But in the end, besides that token, I found nothing else. So broke. How could someone qualified to hold the Earth token be this broke? Probably means it's a fake. Meanwhile, Yan Jing, who fled messily all the way back to Jinling, was busy. Scared, I'd come after him for payback. Afraid I'd come kill him, but couldn't bear to abandon his life's work. But he couldn't walk away from his legacy. So he gritted his teeth and sent out a message. All sect branches spread the word about me. Yan Jing went all in this time. Total chaos broke out. In the big world of Zhuzhou, Blue Star Ascenders are a very special group. Their sects are unbelievably massive, but they each fight their own battles, scattered all over Zhuzhou. Usually nothing happens. But now that I've shown up, any force that has a grudge against Blue Star Ascenders, once they hear the news, won't be able to sit still. Yan Jing was certain that once news about Jiyu Shingei spread, there'd be an endless stream of people lining up to try to kill Jiyu Shingei.
He could only hope someone would take Jiyu Shingei out.
Then he could finally relax. The news spread fast, caused a huge uproar among all the forces. Some wanted to kiss up. Some wanted to kill me. Some were waiting and watching. The undercurrents have already started. Yan Jing noticed the tense mood and felt proud, but also a little worried that Jiyu Shingei casually killed a golden immortal, his power unknown. With this news out, a lot of people will want to kill him. But can they really do it?
He doubted it.
Later that evening, Yan Jing was still in the Huode sect mansion, listening to all the messages from cities about a bunch of different factions. Suddenly, a huge white creature dropped down from the sky, crashed right into the main courtyard of the Huode sect mansion. It was a massive 9-tailed demon fox. With a long, beautiful body, it spun in place. Then huge beastly eyes stared at Yan Jing. He instantly broke out in a cold sweat. A Diwang demon? You dare just walk into the next week region like this? Aren't you afraid? Yan Jing stammered, couldn't finish his words. The disciples around didn't even dare breathe. Right at that moment, the demon fox shifted into a woman dressed in white gauze, flowing silks. Bully calmly walked toward Yan Jing. You leaked Jiyu Xing's location. Where is he? The woman asked. Yan Jing's eyes lit up. She's after Jiyu Shingei, a Diwang demon. A big shot wants Jiyu Shingei dead. He was thrilled inside, but he didn't notice the heartbreaking hope in the woman's eyes. Nor did he see outside Jinling City. A huge army of demonic soldiers had surrounded the city. A man in blood-red armor stepped in on a wave of killing aura, glanced at the city gates of Jinling. The guards at the gate looked scared stiff. So this is Jinling City. Is Huode sect based here? The man asked coldly, his voice icy. Back in the Huode sect. Yan Jing swallowed nervously.
He's at Daluo Sword Sect.
Yijian Pavilion has been destroyed. Everyone with Jiyu Shingei is from Daluo Sword Sect. The woman's eyebrows arched. Daluo Sword Sect isn't far from here. Isn't the sect leader Shen Mengli? Yan Jing looked at the woman in surprise, wondering how she knew. Coming from Diwang, she'd even heard of Shen Mengli. Maybe she had issues with Shen Mengli too. So when she learned Ji Shunjie showed up, she wanted to kill him right away. Yep, it's Shen Mengli, Yan Jing said excitedly. How did you find out? The woman pressed further. Yan Jing didn't answer right away.
Instead, he asked,
May I ask who you are? Why are you after Ji Shunjie? She said plainly. Dihuang Demon Clan's Demon King, Bai Jiuer. Demon King. Yan Jing thought. So I was right. The demon fox in front of me is at least at the celestial demon level. Celestial demon realm. Basically like a Daluo immortal. You can answer my question now. How did you find out the news? Bai Jiuer pressed again. But before Yan Jing could answer, a man with a golden wheel of merit over his head dropped from the sky, showed up in the courtyard, looked around at the tense scene, a bit puzzled. The sect leader's info has been spread, but I don't get. Why don't we kill Jiyu Shingei ourselves? Was there an accident when searching for the underworld valley? As soon as he said that, Bai Jiuer's eyes suddenly sharpened, staring at the man fiercely. He immediately froze up. A sense of danger washed over him, but somehow his first thought was, a flash of lust gleamed in his eyes. What a pretty girl. I wonder why she's here at our Huode sect. Shut up, Yan Jing snapped. He yelled, That's a demon king, you idiot. You dare flirt with a demon king? But it was too late to stop him. Bai Jiur blinked and stared blankly at the man. Next second, with a flash of immortal level power, without any holding back, she smashed right into his dantian, completely destroying it inside. The man's body fell to the ground, his abdomen a bloody mess, blown right open. He stopped moving completely. Only then did Bai Jiur look at Yan Jing again. Let's get back to our conversation. Yan Jing and everyone around him went pale. No one dared to move. I led people to Li Shen. Yan Jing didn't dare hesitate, and stammered out. But before he finished, another disciple rushed in. Yan Jing was about to cry. If another damn disciple interrupts, no one's getting out alive. Get out, unless I call for you. No one is allowed in. But the disciple looked worried. There are you demon soldiers outside. They've surrounded the Huode sect mansion. First the demon king showed up. Now the demon army too. And not just them. Who's leading the demon soldiers? Before the disciple finished, a dark shadow floated in. Blood-red mist swirled around him like thick blood. He carried a blade that stayed sheathed. But one look told you, it wasn't ordinary. As soon as he arrived, the man glanced at Bai Jiur, then quickly asked, "Where's Huode sect's leader? Is Yan Jing here?" Yan Jing hurried to reply, "I'm Yan Jing. May I ask who you are?" "Jiu Heavenly Demon, Yan Kangshen Demon. Also a heavy hitter, on par with Da Luo." Yan Jing started breathing heavily. If both were here to kill Jiu Shenge, then it's a done deal. But they're both here because of Jiu Shenge. Where is he? Yan Kang asked directly. Yan Jing was about to answer, but Bai Jiur cut in with a smile. "No need to waste time. I've already got the information I want." Yan Kang immediately turned to Bai Jiur. Their eyes met. Then Yan Kang bowed to Bai Jiur. "Senior sister, long time no see." Yan Jing was stunned, looked at Yan Kang in shock, then at Bai Jiur. These two know each other. Why are they calling each other senior sister and junior brother? One is a Jiu Heavenly Demon, the other a Di Huang Demon King. How are they both from the same school? Yan Jing was totally confused, couldn't figure it out at all.